Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world. Small.
In this week's episode of the Kindness Project, we talk about cheese rolling, competitive tag, and we have part 2 of our interview with Mindy Gibbins-Klein from Giving 1%.
Hello there and welcome to this episode of the Kindness Project. I'm joined by a girl who wants to roll herself down an hill and a boy, a man. Is it a boy or a man? Is it a man?
Legend.
Up here? I don't know. Who wants to go down the stairs on his bum? But he lives in a bungalow, so he can't. It's Russell Games and Charlotte.
That's the highlight of my visit to your house, being able to bum down the stairs.
Is it?
What do you do?
That's bum down the stairs on your bum.
That's why I always shower while people are out, so that I don't look strange.
You don't do it naked though, do you, Raz?
No, not naked, no.
Topless?
If the neighbours are afraid, if I run through your house and into the garden naked.
Topless?
No, not topless either.
Oh, you disappoint me, Raz. I was thinking of a new YouTube channel for you, Topless Bum
Running.
Staring.
Well-
What do you call it when you... I mean, topless bum staring might be an entirely different thing, but what do you call it when you go down the stairs on your bum?
I don't know what
What's
you
that
call
actually
it.
called? Has that got a name?
No.
I don't think it has. Bumping or...
Bumping sounds
down
weird,
the
but not
stairs.
going to call it that.
Sorry, what did you call it, Charlotte?
I don't know. I don't think it has a name. You just kind of make
No.
the noise as you go down.
Bum bumping. I don't know.
It's like
Yeah.
being on a non-slippery slide, isn't it? It's just down, down, down.
How many times have you gone down my stairs?
I never go wee at the end, though.
Oh,
I never go wee at the end, though.
you should always go wee at the end.
To clarify, I don't actually want to chuck myself down a hill. I'm just really interested in cheese rolling at the
Would you
moment.
not
There was an amazing documentary on Netflix about the cheese rolling championships,
Yeah.
and the people who win cheese rolling are maybe some of the most extreme people I've ever met. They
Yeah.
are into it in a big way.
And
Well,
you don't even win anything other than a wheel of cheese, which is wild. It's like,
Well,
I could
nobody
break my
does-
leg doing this.
Nobody in their right mind's going to throw themselves down the hill after a bit of cheese if they ain't really into it, are they?
Well, funny enough, my local Tesco's does cheese, so I don't need to slim myself down there to do it.
You know what I love
I
about
also now need to go home. I'll be busy tonight because I'll be going home and going to Tesco's to buy cheese, but also dry cleaning my
Is that-
stairs.
Is that...
For
No, what
some reason,
I
Russ,
really-
I'll be dry cleaning my stairs.
know what I really enjoyed as just as crazy? The Red Bull Soapbox Challenge.
Love that.
Oh,
Love that.
I reckon less
Some
people
of
get
them
hurt
are
doing that,
just
though.
out of this world.
I reckon less people get hurt doing that, though.
Would you ever go up the stair bum bumping challenge?
No,
I tell you what, I've really got into.
Russ doesn't like to do it in public.
Not naked. If the, I tell
We're never going to let him let it go.
I tell you what, I've really been into on my latest YouTube rabbit hole. And listeners, if you've got a latest YouTube rabbit hole, don't tell us because we're nearly our last ever podcast, and we're not going to be able to share it even if you do. But I tell you what, my latest YouTube rabbit hole is that's quite interesting. Competitive tag. Have you seen that?
no.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Just have a look, Russ, for
I will go.
World Championship tag on YouTube. It is part parkour, part ads,
Yeah.
part just like you look at these guys and go, I cannot believe you
mentioned
can
it
move your body
before,
that
I
way.
think.
Sorry?
I think you mentioned it before.
And if
Amazing.
we're mentioning weird sports that we've talked about before on the podcast, I highly recommend competitive juggling.
Not competitive slapping. I see that on there once.
Too violent for me.
Some of that, but it doesn't appeal to me as much as competitive juggling. Watching someone chuck 3 pins up in the air just so they can dive another person to stop them from catching their own.
I mean, I may do this at some point, so I hope nobody steals it when they hear about it in the podcast. I am going to do Grizz Dames Playground Games as a charity event. I think when I've got a bit more time, I'm going to do Grizz Dames' Playground Games and like get a bunch of adults playing British Bulldog and ad and all that sort of stuff. I've talked about that for absolutely ages. So, would you ever Charlotte Dames competitive juggling championship?
I'd love to go and watch competitive juggling, but I'd never get involved in it because I just feel like I'd get hurt. Yeah.
How about you, Rose? What do you want to go of?
Well, I'm thinking, next YouTube channel, which you might see next week on YouTube. They're bumping naked with Russ.
You haven't got any stairs, Russ. Where are you going to bump naked?
I'm just going to randomly pop round people's houses that I know, strip off, and bump down their stairs naked.
I mean,
it'll be like a tour of Norfolk. Because randomly, most of the people I know now live in Norfolk. So I'm just going to randomly pop round their houses.
how do you reckon they're going to feel about your bare bum?
On their stairs?
When they find out it'll be famous on YouTube, and you know that's going to go viral.
What, bare bum bumping down?
You know, bare bum bumping is
Can I ask a question? When you break into their house, or they let you in and leave you there, are you gonna let them know that you can be bare bum bumping?
No. So when I come visit at the beginning of December, remember, don't leave the house without me.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, she's on YouTube with a bare bum bump video.
God, Mum would hate that.
Would you recognise it though?
Would I recognise it? I'd recognise you, wouldn't I? I'd recognise you bare bum bumping down the stairs.
Russ, I definitely recognise it. I lived in that house most of my life.
Would I recognise me house and my brother? Yes, I would. I wouldn't recognise your bum, but I'd recognise you jiggling down these stairs at pace.
God.
And then going wee at the end, despite there being no slide.
No, he said he never goes wee at the end. That's how it's different from the slides.
When I say going wee, I mean saying wee.
I'm glad this is ending soon.
Russ, you love us really. Probably. I haven't asked in a while.
Well, occasionally. There has been occasion where I thought, oh, they're quite nice, but then I'm sort of got into conversation with you and I realise otherwise.
Charming. On that note, shall we move on to another episode of
Kindness News?
So, it's Kindness News Donut Edition. These were from earlier in November. 3 donuts from Krispy Kreme to mark World Kindness Day. A free donut has been offered in Reading to mark World Kindness Day. Could have let us know earlier, else we would have had one. The Krispy Kreme kiosk in the Oracle will be giving away its original glazed donut ring in a bid to inspire acts of kindness. It's part of the firm's global efforts to inspire people to do good. A limited number of the treats are available to collect on Tuesday with no purchase necessary. Those willing to take part should visit the stand and ask for the World Kindness Day offer. Dave Skinner, Global Chief Brand Officer for Krispy Kreme, said World Kindness Day is an opportunity to make a positive difference by being generous, from paying it forward to meaningfully connecting with each other. Simple gestures of caring, and thanks, including sharing a sweet treat, is a great way to do that. We hope giving away original glazed donuts will inspire millions of small acts of kindness. Those who collect the free treats are asked to share how they shared them by sharing the hashtag. There's a lot of shares in that. Hashtag Krispy Kreme. So now part of me wants to say cynical media ploy to promote the podcast. However, I'm quite liking the idea of free donuts for people who are being kind. What do you guys think?
I think go nuts for donuts. Now there's a soundbite for you.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I don't know whether it's a good thing, a bad or bad
If you
thing.
wanted sound bites, you could have just.
Donuts for donuts. Okay, fair enough. And on that note, I'm going to go nuts for our interview this week, which is with. I'm sorry, before I get on to the interview, what's your joke of the week going to be about this week, Charlotte?
Stairs. I've started looking already.
Stairs. Okay. We have got our interview this week. We started to interview Mindy Gibbins-Klein last week about her new project, Giving 1%. Let's listen to part 2 of the interview. Now, we're here to talk specifically about your 1% project. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so the concept is called Giving 1%. I'm sure the link will be in the show notes.
Yeah.
What happened was during the pandemic, I was running the book coaching business and also a publishing business, which I've since sold. But I was doing well. I know a lot of people didn't do well, so I say this with the utmost care and thoughts for people who didn't do well.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, a lot of people had more time on their hands. Either they were furloughed or they weren't commuting. A lot of people chose to do books, and they chose to do it with my help, which was great. I mean, at that point, I'd been running the business for 18 years and, have a great track record. So I just got on with it. And it was about a year in when I realized my income has gone up, but I don't think my giving has kept up. So that was the phrase. So, but my giving, what is that? Standing orders, as we have here in the UK. I'm learning all the terminology for different countries, but the fact of sending money automatically from your bank account to a charity every month. I've always done it, but I didn't think that the levels were appropriate, but I didn't really know. I did a little calculation on my phone. Now, some of the listeners will have heard of tithing. The church and other religions talk about giving to charity, suggesting maybe 10% of your net income. I didn't think I was at 10%, but I thought, I don't know, 5, 6, it wasn't. And it wasn't even 1%, because my income had gone up and my giving had not kept up. So for me, that was a moment, that was a defining moment to figure out what I wanted to do about that. So I did something simple. I raised my standing orders. I set up a few more. I picked a few more charities, ones that meant something to me, and I got the number up. So, but then I began talking to people about it, and the overriding response was, never thought about it. And this is the thing. If you never think about something and you're not aware of it, you're not mindful of it, you cannot actually do anything about it. So just to stop and think, and to help other people stop and think and calculate. So we developed, it took about a year, a website, and it did just launch this year in 2023, where it's just asking the question, do you know what your giving number is? Have you thought about it? Do you want to think about it? Do you want to know the number? Here's a little calculator. And anonymously, people can simply enter their net income, monthly income, and their monthly giving. Two little figures, and then they immediately get the number. Now, I've called it Giving 1%, and I've had people say, oh, why are you suggesting 1%? That's very low, blah, blah, blah. It's a start. I'm not saying that that's where people should stop, but the other way we phrased it with somebody, and we're still talking about this, is could you live on 99% of your net income? And it's kind of a rhetorical question. Some people can't. Some people cannot make ends meet. They're living above their means. I'm not talking to them. But if I may, I'll explain something else that happened during the pandemic and the subsequent economic crisis, so-called crisis. Rational people panicked and they actually stopped standing orders going to charities. Now, I personally don't act like that. I don't, have a knee-jerk reaction to many things. But, it seemed a bit sad that if they were nervous about something, that they would stop sending 10 or 15 pounds to a charity. I mean, does that really change your life? Is that really what you should be cutting? And then I have to stop myself being judgmental. All I know is the charities need actual money. They have actual overheads. And, we can say what we want about charities and how they manage their money. I say research the charities, but every single one needs real money. And when all of this started happening, they found it very, very, very hard to do their work. So I'll stop now, but that's one of the things that really drives me.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. So I've got a couple of, in my financial planning business, I've got a couple of charity clients. And one of them is an amazing organisation that we've worked with now for 10 years, something like that, called Chicken Shed Theatre Company.
Oh, I know them very well. I used to live right near there.
Yeah, exactly. So Chicken Shed we've worked with for over a decade. They're brilliant.
Yeah, they are.
They had a real problem during COVID because they couldn't get theatre revenue, they couldn't do shows,
right?
Couldn't deliver their services in the same way. But they still had kids who wanted to, who were feeling lonely at home and wanted to engage, so they still wanted to do stuff, and funding significantly went down.
Yeah.
Now we had an interesting experience because we do a body of work for them every year. We just gave them a huge discount in that particular year and said, look, because you've worked with us for 10 years, we want to help. So we're not like you. We had a pretty stable 2020 from a financial perspective, so we could afford to do that, and we wanted to help and support. But yeah, the lived experience of that charity was that money was tight. And actually everybody was looking at, in that period of insecurity, everybody was looking at it and going, we don't know what's going to happen, so we're going to stop. The challenge you got is if you're checking your direct debits and you stop, you may not restart without that nudge of saying, well, actually, I probably still need to contribute again. Now, thankfully, if I take Chicken Shed as an example, and I had a conversation with the team there last week. They're thriving now because they interestingly, they were on Britain's Got Talent, and that created loads of people getting involved. And their shows are amazing, and they do brilliant work.
Yeah.
So thankfully they've come out of that. However, there are charities out there, particularly the smaller ones, who are relying on those donations and are struggling in a big way. So yeah, it's really interesting. When I look at your projects, I think about how aligned it is to your thoughtfulness element, because it's about just being conscious. It's not saying you must do this. It's about asking the question and saying, you know what, think about it.
Yeah. And I sometimes explain the Giving 1% project to people as thoughtful leadership in action or thoughtful giving, because it's not usually top of mind. It's sometimes, an afterthought. And there are some people who have never set up any regular giving to charities. And I am talking about individuals. It's fantastic really fantastic what you as an organization have done. But, we have 68 million or so people in the UK, maybe 50 million of them, maybe 40 million of them are in a position where they could give. But, how do they know how much to give? And somebody approached me the other day from a charity, and I listened to the spiel because I'm working in this space now. And at the end, very sheepishly, very mildly, she said, so do you think you could give £3 a month? She was almost, apologetic. And I said to her, sweetheart, I could probably give you £43 a month. Where does that figure come from? And she was taken aback. That wasn't part of the script. And I explained the work that I was doing. She got excited, put me in touch with the senior leaders in the charity. And we're having a different discussion now. And I said to them, as respectfully as I could, don't suggest the £3 or some, that's not appropriate. What's more appropriate is for people to understand what their 1% is or whatever percent they want to give, and do it strategically. And they lit up. And I met somebody at an event the other day, and they were so grateful. I said, this is for me, this is a business-like way of looking at things. And I realized that all my business experience has also led me to this place. So yes, I care, but I also have real world business experience. So, watch this space, because I might start doing more with charities myself.
I love it. And you're right, because I think what we underestimate when we ask for a cash figure is we forget that it's all relative, isn't it? Like £3 for one person might be that 1%, whereas for somebody else it might be a tiny number. So it's that element of working out what the contribution might be, and making sure that charities are funded in the right way. Talk to me a little bit about what you think the future of this project is, because it sounds like you've got big plans.
I have big plans, but they're simple plans, Chris. All I would like to do, this would be ideal utopian future for me and the project, is for people to know their giving number and have arrived at it and made decisions based on that, and to give thoughtfully, and to just raise the consciousness of charitable giving generally. And this is not just a UK project, because I have lived in the US and I have worked in 18 countries, and there's scope to create a global awareness. I really feel, well, I'll get into my actual philosophy briefly, but I feel that individuals are the ones who create massive change. And even if you say, companies, they have, deep pockets, but they're made up of individuals. All my work and my whole career has been and continues to be with individuals. And the power of the individual is immense. And then this goes back to what I was saying, that most people don't realize it. They don't realize their potential, that it's all related.
100%. And as you say, organisations have power, but it's individuals who make those ultimate decisions in those organisations. Correct. so that they can do that.
Yeah.
So knowing your giving number, super important. It's really interesting, and it's funny because I wrote about this in the book. We interviewed a couple from an organisation based in New York, funny enough, called kindness.org. Brilliant over there. Jacqueline and Melissa. And this must have been about 3 years ago. And their question to me was featured in the book because it really made me think. And their question was, what could you do to be 10% kinder? Mm-hmm. And what was interesting for me on that one, Mindy, just turning around and going, 10%, how could I do that? And it's something I've sort of I've borrowed, because every time I'm out talking about the book, we share that thing, and it's just, as you say, it's going back to the thoughtfulness of looking at that. In terms of the story, because I love a good story. So tell me about the story that, and I'm after two really. I'm after a story that represents the impact of thoughtfulness and potentially kindness in the work you do, but also I suppose the story about having a conversation about the charities, the impact that you're making in the 1% project. But tell me a story about how the thoughtfulness and inspiring thoughtfulness is a powerful motivation.
So thank you for asking that question. It is very new. So although it took me a year to do, the site has only been up for just over a month. And I've probably not done enough promotion because I've been busy with a book project, as you know, and other things. But even in the work that I've done, even in the approaches I've made and messages and posts, and I have managed to contact a few thousand people, and 100 have actually clicked the button to add their number. Loads more have done their calculation and not clicked the button, and they've written to me. And the most rewarding thing that brought me to tears the other day was somebody saying, thank you, because I hadn't been thinking about this, and I am capable of giving a whole lot more, and it's just not been a focus. And I'm so grateful that you just brought this to my attention. Now, the power of that story is it was such a simple thing. I just said, go to this website, enter 2 figures, do you want to know your giving number? But it's part of a bigger thing, as we've been talking
but in a world where there's so much noise, just somebody going, look, like, this is such a positive thing to do, which is why I love it. Where can people find out a bit more about the project, the work you do, connect with you, ask your questions, send your emails?
So I think the
easiest via pigeon, whatever they want to do.
I actually prefer seagulls to pigeons. That's another. I love seagulls. If you get to know me, just send me a picture of a seagull, and you'll be my best friend forever.
That's it. I know that now. That's good to know.
Yeah. Most people hate them, and anyway, giving1%.com. So giving #1%, the word.com. We'll put the link everywhere, because that also has the link to my speaker website. What I haven't yet done is found the right way to put Giving 1% into my speaker website. So the best way you can find out about me and the project is giving1%.com. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, we'll make sure we put that all over the show notes as well.
You.
Mindy, thank you for your time today. I've really loved interviewing you, and we're looking forward to sharing your project on the Kindness Project. See you soon.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thanks to you and the team.
So that was part 2 of the interview. That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was really.
But what it is the end. And we are nearly, can I just say, at the end of the entire run, the entire 6-year run. End of an era, chaps. How are we feeling about it? It's getting close now.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for me.
Yeah.
That's my carpet after you've been on it.
I think it has
That's
to
my
be.
stair carpet. It's double-edged.
Well,
Right down the middle.
Right. Forget about the carpet now.
Sorry, are you gonna buy me a new carpet on my stairs after you've bumped down it with your bare bum?
No, I'm not. I think that carpet will be more valuable after I bump down it and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, after we put it on YouTube.
That's like a celebrity memento.
Yeah, I like that.
I could pay people to come in the house and view the carpet, can't I? I could do, but if people wanted to bump their way down the stairs, I could charge a £10 instead.
Wouldn't you just? Yeah. You'd be on the tour of Raynham, famous houses. Your house would be right there, number
I
one.
might get a blue plaque. Raz bumps his bum here.
I'll just stay up after we move. Yeah, that'll stay up.
That was that. I've always wanted a blue plaque. Yeah,
Oh, God.
right. On that note,
Rush, you were talking about double-edged swords.
Oh, yeah. So it has to end somewhere. But yeah, it's been going a long while now. And it was our little baby to begin with, just sort of 5 or 6 listeners to what it become.
Yeah.
I've got mixed feelings.
It's really weird to me that, like, I can't even remember how old I was when we started this. 14? Maybe younger? Probably 14. Because we started, December, January?
Yeah.
Yeah. We recorded a bit before that, but I can't remember when specifically. I think it was a little early, late 13, 14. By the time the last episode goes out, I will be 20 years old.
There you go.
I'm feeling mixed. It feels like time.
It does.
However, I love what it's become in terms of just us getting together, being silly, chatting, having a laugh.
Well, like I've said previously on the 300th episode, I don't think I'd have the relationship with Charlotte now that I do if we hadn't have done this.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I've loved it. Tis the end, chaps.
Tis the
We've
end.
got a few more podcasts to go, so don't worry, listeners. We're not going anywhere yet, but we might get a bit melancholy when it gets a bit.
We're going to get a bit melancholy.
We're going to get a bit melancholy. So, on that note, let's cheer us up with Charlotte's joke of the week.
Mm-hmm. The stairway to success is always under construction, but don't worry, you'll get there step by step.
Is that a joke or a motivational quote? Do you want to try?
Somewhere in between.
I mean, it's not bad as a motivational quote. Do you want to try again? Give us a.
I don't feel amused, but I feel motivated. So...
I feel motivated and marginally entertained. So do you want to try a funny one?
Yeah. I'll try. I overheard two stairs talking about their love lives. One said, "I can't find a perfect match, but I'm just looking for someone to step up."
We're never doing stair jokes again. We are never ever doing stair jokes.
They're so bad.
Stairs as a joke topic isn't one of our best. On that note, my friends, have a lovely remainder of what you're doing this week. Hope you enjoyed this week's Kindness Project, and we'll see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.